Hey there guys, what is up? It's me, Harry Sandberg, back here with a brand new video, and Matt Reeves' The Batman starring Robert Pattinson was, like the Snyder Cut, one of the biggest trailers talked about at DC Fandome. And I'm not gonna lie, it was probably one of my favourite trailers shown. Reeves said that he's only got 25% of the film filmed, but what he brought to DC Fandome really got DC fans excited for what's to come. Today I'll be breaking down every detail you may have missed from this awesome trailer for The Batman, which is slated to come out October 1st, 2021. And spoiler warning, just in case any of my predictions or theories turn out to be true. So, let's get started. The trailer opens on Edward Nashton, aka the Riddler, played here by Paul Dano, taping up a man's face who we later learn is Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. I like with how the opening, the DC and Warner Brothers logo follow the sound the duct tape makes as the Riddler is taking off different strips, and notice the outfit he is wearing, different to how we would usually see the Riddler compared to his outfit in the comics. And the mask he's wearing is an idealized version of a US military extreme cold weather mask. We then get a zoomed in shot of the taped up mayor with the words "No more lies" written across, but notice how his whole head is taped up rather than his mouth, implying that the lies he is told come from his whole image, and implying that there's corruption within the mayor's office. Corruption is actually a theme that is within the realms of this Gotham City, and will be focused on in the GCPD focus show that will take place in the first year of the emergence of the Batman, and will focus primarily on one corrupt cop in this corrupt city battling for his soul. On to the next clip.
From your secret friend. Underneath the bridge. Who?
We then get this first-person view through the eyes of the Batman, with all the cops looking at him strangely. Reeves did say that he did not want to do an origin story for the Batman, and that Batman has not yet become the symbol of hope that he later does. He then added, he's early in the trajectory of becoming that symbol, but for right now, they are afraid of him, which is what we could be seeing here. The victim also has this paper bag over his hand. In a shot of him on the ground, he is wearing something on his wrist or finger, so maybe Riddler took it with whatever extremity it was a part of. And then we meet Jim Gordon, played here by Jeffrey Wright. Now the song here is Something in the Way by Nirvana, which Kurt Cobain wrote about his life. He claimed that when he got kicked out of his house, he went and lived under a nearby bridge, which was later denounced in the book Heavier Than Heaven. But the message remains the same. He expresses his feelings and emotions by saying there's something in the way. He thought everything was in the way every time he tried to feel better. So it hinges on his isolation, which could relate to Batman, who usually feels as though he is better alone, and in this film, while helping the police, trying to solve the mystery on his own and live up to his title as the world's greatest detective. On to the next clip.
Haven't a clue. Let's play a game, just me and you. Any of this mean anything to you?
We then get these newspapers all taped up onto this window talking about Don's third-term win with the word lies written all over them. This could imply the idea that his election for the first, second and third terms were all rigged for him to win, which could also add to the corruption that we will see in the DCPD TV show. We then get this card, most definitely made by the Riddler, which kind of reminds me of Jim Carrey's Riddler and how he made his cards in Batman Forever. The cover of the card has a skeleton and an owl on it, which could be referencing the deeper villains hidden within this film, who are the Court of Owls, an ancient conspiracy that has controlled Gotham City for centuries. So maybe Riddler is trying to expose them, as they could be part of the conspiracy. And the skeleton may be a reference to the phrase skeletons in the closet, which means a secret that is hidden, like the Court of Owls. Now the inside of the card is interesting with the riddle, what does a liar do when he's dead? And then this interesting zodiac symbol language at the bottom of the card, which fans have actually deciphered and have come to the conclusion that it says, he still lies, which actually makes sense with a clip later on. We then see this wall and a newspaper article that references Salvatore Maroni, the second most powerful mobster in Gotham City after Carmine Falcone, who will also be in this film and played by John Turturro. And then we get a brand new look at Pattinson's Batman suit. Now, the Batsuit is supposed to be practical and looks as though Bruce Wayne made it himself. And there are some reports that this could be one of the two suits we could see in this film. And notice the bat emblem on his chest. Now, some are saying that this could be some type of batarang, while others, and I personally love this theory the most, say that if you look closely, it looks as though they could be parts of a gun. But not just any gun, the gun that Joe Chill used to kill Bruce Wayne's parents, and he wears it on his chest as a reminder. On to the next clip.
You're becoming quite a celebrity.
Here we see a press conference with Commissioner Pete Savage, played by Alex Ferns, with Jim Gordon and Chief Mackenzie Bock, played by Con O'Neill. We then cut to a wider shot of this scene with a woman standing next to Gordon, who is most likely Mitchell's wife. We then see Bruce with his face covered and the black eye makeup around his eyes, which is a staple of previous Batmans to help him hide his identity, even though in past iterations it magically disappears when he removes his cowl. We then see him ride through a cemetery and up to this movie's location for the Batcave. Looking at the area, we can see a ramp, 2 sets of stairs, and if you look closely at the overhead of the tunnel, it looks like it says Wayne Terminal or Wayne Station. So it looks like he could be using abandoned underground subway lines to navigate through Gotham to get to places quicker. If you look closely at the walls, they've kind of got this moisture stains, and there's patches of water around the area, and this subway could have been flooded out. We then get this voiceover from Alfred, played by Andy Serkis, saying,
You're becoming quite a celebrity.
Now, this Batman film is taking place within Bruce Wayne being in his second year as Batman. Reeves wants us to meet him in the middle of his criminological experiment and see him becoming Batman, but also see him make mistakes as Batman as well. Moving on.
Why is he writing to you?
Next, we are taken to the funeral of Don Mitchell Jr., which, if you go back to the riddle earlier of what does a liar do when he's dead, he still lies, this is echoed here with Mitchell being dead, but his legacy, along with his lies and corruption, living on through his remembrance at this funeral. A car bursts through the front with Bruce saving a child from getting run over, with his mother, most likely the woman we saw earlier, Don's wife, reaching out for him. We then see the emergence of who looks to be District Attorney Gil Coulson, played by Peter Skarsgård. His mouth is taped over with "No More Lies" written on it, he has a bomb wrapped around his neck, and there is a phone strapped to his hand which looks to be on a phone call with maybe the Riddler on the other end on speakerphone, as we hear later on in this trailer, with him probably about to give his next riddle. The car that Coulson drives in has the words DOA written on the back in paint with duct tape all on the car as well. The DA on it could refer to District Attorney, which is his title, but with the O in between could stand for Dead on Arrival. On to the next clip.
If you are justice, please do not lie.
We then get introduced to Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, played here by Zoe Kravitz, who also portrayed Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie. Here we see her breaking into Mitchell's apartment and breaking into his safe, maybe recovering files of corruption, or maybe just a bunch of cash. Notice in this shot here, the somewhat is referencing her character. Reeves said at the panel that the film will give us origin stories for some of Batman's greatest foes, like Selina Kyle, who's on her way to becoming Catwoman, Riddler, who in this universe is just emerging, and, like who shows up here at East Side Depot of Gotham City Sanitation, which could be used as a front in the film, Penguin, played here by the unrecognizable Colin Farrell. In fact, Reeves said Oz, as he's referred to in this film, is not yet the kingpin that he's going to become. And then he added that the Penguin, in fact, doesn't like being called Penguin. We then see this pan view of Batman, probably at the same place as the East Side Depot, a group of gang members giving this guy here a hard time, Batman in a red room like we saw in the teaser for the film a while back, and Batman in a room with police, most likely after the funeral scene. Notice how behind him there is this stretcher type apparatus, maybe being used to hold him down, and Selina on her bike. We then get this voiceover from Riddler saying,
If you are justice, please do not lie.
most likely talking to Batman here in the church while on the phone, and this line continues in the next clip. We see a shootout happening at the East Side Depot with Penguin and his men shooting at Batman, or maybe another group. Batman confronting Selina at Mitchell's house with the two in a mini confrontation, and Riddler slamming something shiny into Mitchell's head, maybe a glass ashtray. Coulson explodes, sending both him and Batman flying, and if you look, the police actually tried sending in a robot to disable the bomb, and then another close-up shot of Riddler as he finishes his line saying,
"What is the price for your blind eye?"
So now that we have the full line, if you are justice, please do not lie, what is the price for your blind eye, which could be his second riddle at the funeral, what the heck does it mean? Well, if you are justice, please do not lie could be referring to how people in the justice system are supposed to be upstanding to the law and do what they do to protect and serve and to be truthful to the badge, which is a problem in Gotham due to the corruption plaguing the city. And then, what is the price for your blind eye could, for one, seeing as he is talking to Batman here, might be a reference to the final riddle of Batman Forever, which was,
I see without seeing. To me, darkness is as clear as daylight. What am I?
You're as blind as a bat!
Exactly.
but could also reflect how Batman and the rest of the GCPD are so focused on the crime happening at night, they don't see the true crime happening before them during the day, and that what happens in that city due to that corruption always has consequences, and someone always needs to pay. It could also be a reference to Lady Justice, who is blind, and in her hands is a balance beam, which represents impartiality and the obligation of the law through its representatives to weigh the evidence presented to the court, and a sword representing punishment. Now, if this riddle does involve Lady Justice in some form, this could be leading to his next victim, who could be the corrupt leader of the GCPD, Commissioner Savage, who could, with the sword of punishment, be beheaded, which could then lead to Jim Gordon getting the role of Commissioner. On to the next clip.
The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
Not gonna lie, this part right here was the main reason this trailer gave me chills. Here we see the same thugs we saw earlier with their hostage, who they might have let go after finding a new punching bag in the form of the Batman. I like how one of the thugs has his phone out recording the confrontation, and then we get this awesome combat sequence with Batman blocking a machete, snapping his arm, breaking his jaw, and even after the obvious KO, goes back and punches the guy 2 more times. There is also this visual detail on his arms, which was shown in past set pictures of this kind of needle-like thing on his arm, similar to what Talon wears on his outfit, who was an assassin used by, guess who, the Court of Owls, who went after Batman after he discovered the secret society. I also like here that one of the gang members is seen crying, and no, this is not rain, guys, this is visible fear. And then the chilling line,
I'm vengeance.
which is a callback to the infamous line by who is everyone's #1 Batman, Kevin Conroy in Batman the Animated Series, who says,
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
and I'm really hoping this whole line comes full circle throughout the movie. On to the next clip.
This guy's crazy.
Here we see the Batmobile, which is modeled on a muscle car. Notice the flame here is blue, which shows that it is scorching hot because the light blue flame can reach up to 1,500 degrees Celsius or 2,732 Fahrenheit if you do not use the metric system. We then see him chasing Penguin, crashing through a barricade, and then we see him take a gunshot to the chest with the bullet bouncing off. And then we are taken into another clip where we see armed police shooting at him as he's ascending to the top of his staircase with his back claw. And if you look very, very closely here, we see someone who looks to be wearing a Court of Owls mask. Now, some people are saying this is just the lighting bouncing off, but no, I see the strap going over the man's head, and I recognize that mask anywhere. This is a Court of Owls mask. So, if this theory is true, these cops could be working with the court to take out the Caped Crusader, We then see Penguin, who I still cannot believe is Colin Farrell because of all the heavy prosthetics they put on him, exclaims Batman's craziness, and then Batman getting up after beating down the machete thug, and then the title appears with the Batman logo appearing behind the title. Notice how when the A comes down, the bat ears appear, and on the left side, there appear to be screw holes, which show that Bruce made this suit himself. Onto the final clip.
You're part of this too. How am I part of it? You'll see.
Here we see Batman returning to the Batcave with a video playing on his Batcomputer, which could be a mayoral campaign video because it kind of has that same format as you'd see with any kind of promotional content for a president or prime minister or mayor for that matter. But the part here that is most interesting is the chilling exchange between Batman and the Riddler, which is most likely still part of the same line with the riddle from earlier, and this whole exchange happening in the church before the DA goes boom. This exchange is interesting because it could lead to two different viewpoints. Riddler saying you're part of this too could be him talking about the Batman persona as a whole and how his crusade to stop the crime in Gotham and him being a soon-to-be symbol of justice has also opened that door of corruption. And his line, you'll see, may be foreshadowing the events that are yet to come because as we know, this universe will be expanded upon. The second viewpoint, and honestly the one I'm hoping they go with, is Riddler finding out Bruce is Batman, and the line, you're part of this too, not referencing Bruce, but the Wayne name itself. Gotham City is a pool of corruption on every corner, from street thugs to people within the justice system, and even big names in big corporations. And this could lead to the reveal that Thomas alone, or along with Martha, could have been the top of the food chain when it came to Gotham's corruption. And maybe, with the knowledge of Bruce's identity, is leading to that big reveal. Thank you guys so much for watching my breakdown of the Batman trailer. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave in the comments down below any details that I may have missed. Make sure to also like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification down there because that would be most appreciated. And make sure to tune in next time where I'll be breaking down all the information we know about Black Adam. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Do not click off yet. Hey there guys, Future Harry here after editing the Batman video, and we actually do have some brand new information regarding the Snyder Cut and the Suicide Squad. So starting off with the Snyder Cut, we do actually have two pieces of information here. Number one, we have leaked images of Lex Luthor's God Killer suit, and secondly, Snyder has reportedly changed his aspect ratio for the Snyder Cut, changing it from the 143:1 scale to a 166:1 scale, which is shown right here. And the second bit of news involving the Suicide Squad regards Taika Waititi's role in the film. Now, unfortunately, he will not be playing King Shark, and he will not be playing Starro, but he will be playing Ratcatcher 1, aka Otis Flanagan. Okay, now the video is over, and now I will see you guys in the next one.